Hi, this is student A00214196, and this is an assignment on email. So this is just going to be a quick overview on how to trace back an email to its source using headers, and also how to spoof an email and track the email that you've spoofed once it's sent. So we have a scenario here where police have been tracking a cyber criminal known as Josh Baker, and he's created a phishing scam to AIT students where he's asking them to pay a fee of €99, where obviously the money then will be stolen. So in the overview as well, we just get information on the phishing scam, and also they've recovered his email address and his login information as well, which we'll be looking at later. So first of all, we go and we look at the actual phishing email that was sent, which was this email here, pretending to be from AIT, asking for a fee of €99 and links to complete the payments. Now this email is fake. It was sent from Josh Baker. So the first technique we're going to use is to get the header information of this email and then put it into a piece of software which can trace back its IP address and its IP address location. So we go up and we go to show original message, and this is how email messages are actually sent before they're converted. And we are looking for the header information, which is usually above all the HTML information, which is from here. So we just copy this to be put into our trace email. So I'm using what is my IP address, and I go to the trace email, and I'm just going to paste the header information into this box here and say get source. So after we paste it in the source, we start to get information of when it was received, how it was received, the IP address, and the time it was sent and all. And if we go further down, we can get the location of where the host was sent. So you can see here the email was sent from this source. It was sent using an email spoof program called this, which we'll be looking at in a moment, from this IP address. And the geolocation is Prague in the Czech Republic. So we know now the location of where the email source was sent and the host name of the email, which is actually a software for spoofing, which is this one. So this is what Josh Baker would have used to create the AIT message. Now to get a more up-to-date information on Josh Baker and his location and all, we could use a similar tactic. So we could send a spoof email. In this case, I sent one from saying I'm from Argos to his email address, and I add on a little thing to the end of his email address called .readnotify.com. And what this is it's tracing software for bait tactics. So when I send this email to him and he opens it, I should receive back information on the IP address that opened it, his probable location, and when he opened it. So I could send off this email and then wait for him to open it and receive all that information. But also from the overview, we know that we have his login information here, so we can just go into his email and you can see where I've sent the Argos message, but you can also see who he's been talking to here. Now we know by looking at his email address that himself, Josh Baker, and this other person, Paul Simmons, are the two people that planned the phishing scam. Now, what we could do here is we could also trace Paul Simmons' email by using the same technique, using the header technique. So we can go in here and go to view raw message, and we can look down for the metadata in the header. And from there then we can trace back his IP address and all. Now I've done this with two different emails. One of them I get a US address, and for the other one, I just get this as well, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. So anyway, now we've traced back both email addresses. Now we can send one to get a more up-to-date location on where Josh Baker might be. We could also do this for Paul Simmons. So the first thing we do is we go to our read notify, where we've signed up for account, and if you remember, we added it to the end of this email address, where we sent a thing from pretending to be Argos, where it's just a newsletter. So what happens here is we send off the email, we wait for the person to open it, in this case Josh Baker, and when he opens it we should get information here with our tracked emails from read notify. So we can then go into when the email that he opened and get the information. So you can see here then we have the time he opened it, his approximate location, and the IP address of where he may have opened it. So that's just a quick overview of how you can trace headers and emails, also spoof emails, and trace emails you've sent and find out when they've opened it. And thank you.